right. Mm. So I am hearing a cat. Stop. Dominance under a guise. Hey, come on. Meow. 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 My dog's looking around like something's going on. It's funny. So this video might get taken down simply because I am going to listen to music while I put my makeup on. So she's spelling it the other way. Like Libra isn't having kids. Why are you hanging on so tight? It's dominance under a guise. Pause. Is there a way to cast it? Oh, I guess I have to watch it on my computer, huh? 1, 2, 3.
Why are you hanging on so tight till I broke the heard from off this island? This was an escape plan. Carefully timed it, so let it go and dive into the waves below. Who tends the orchards? Who fixes up the gables? Emotional torture from the heavy high table. Who fetches the water from the rocky mountain spring and walk back down again to feel your words and your sharp sting? And I'm getting fucking tired. The capillaries in my eyes are bursting. If all love died, would that be the worst thing? For somebody I thought was my savior, sure maybe do. busy lapping from flowing cup and stabbing with your fork. I know you're a smart man, unweaponized the false incompetence. It's dominance under a guy. If we had a daughter, I'd watch and could not save her. The emotional torture from the head of your high table. She'd do what you taught her. She'd meet the same cruel fate. So now I've got to run so I can undo this mistake. At least I've gotta try. The capillaries in my eyes are bursting. If our love died, would that be the worst thing? For somebody I thought was my savior, sure make it do a whole lot of labor. The callous skin on my hands is cracking. If our love ends, would that be a bad thing? And the silence wants a bed shaver. You make me do too much labor. All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her. You make me do too much labor. All day, every day, therapist, mother maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, live to attend him so that he never lifts a finger. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out his picket fence dreams. It's not an act of love if you make her. You make me do too much labor. Twinkle days in your eyes are bursting. If I love her, I understand it's bursting. Just an appendage, live to a savior, show that he never gets a lot of labor. 24/7 baby machine, so he can live out and his picket fence dreams. It's not a silence, also can shake her. You make me do too much labor.
Okay, never mind. That's weird. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to text my daughter. I don't need to now. The cats quit fighting. Okay, let's see. I need music, guys. Stop. What hippo?
Studies show that anywhere between 30 and 80% of autistic people also have ADHD. And the number seems slightly lower for the number of ADHDers who are also autistic, but that's still a pretty hefty chunk of overlap. The disparity between the two probably just means that ADHD is slightly more prevalent or maybe slightly more diagnosed on a population level. Weirdly enough, the DSM, which is the diagnostic manual for use by psychologists, doesn't actually talk about this at all, and the criteria for autism and ADHD within it do not overlap, despite the fact that there is a great deal of overlap between the two conditions, especially when it comes to things like executive functioning issues. Up until recently, you couldn't even get a dual diagnosis of autism and ADHD. If you had one, you couldn't be diagnosed with the other. Consequently, there is very little in professional literature about what it actually looks like when someone has both. How do they present? Luckily, we have the internet now, and people from all over the world can share their lived experiences relatively easily. Woohoo! So you clicked on this video, maybe you have one diagnosis, but we're always kind of wondering about the other one. Maybe you don't have any, but you think both of them kind of apply to you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I do have a psychology degree, but if you want real clarification, you probably should find a professional and not an internet person. Just think of this video as kind of like a starting point in your journey. Let's go. Hello everyone, for those of you who are new, I'm Sam and I make videos about autism and neurodiversity related things right here on YouTube after I was diagnosed with autism in my early 30s. I now know that I also have ADHD, and the overlap is a really interesting topic because there's very little out there about what it's actually like having both, because we don't really look like what people expect from one side or from the other side. So today I'm going to go through 5 signs that you may have both. Number 1, a constant conflict between apparently contradictory traits. You might feel in constant inner conflict with yourself, which often results in becoming frequently frustrated with yourself. You may crave order and routine, but be unable to maintain it. You might get overstimulated as much as you get understimulated. And sometimes this might even happen at the same time or in a very short space of time, which can be confusing and frustrating for yourself and probably also for others around you. So these 2 sides of me are both there, they're both part of me, but sometimes they have completely opposite desires and needs. And I think this can result in what looks like apparently hypocritical behavior from the outside, although it makes perfect sense when you know what you're dealing with. Like, for example, needing everyone around you to be completely quiet and then making a lot of noise yourself. Number 2, your traits might appear to balance each other out at times. I think that what can happen sometimes, not for everyone, but for many people, is that the opposing actions of autistic and ADHD traits can seem to balance each other out, or maybe even conceal each other. My struggles weren't always obvious growing up. I only was diagnosed in my 30s. Because, for example, the social awkwardness aspect of my autism often kind of gave in to the chattiness and sociability of my ADHD. So from the outside, I kind of just appeared as if I was shy at first and then took a little bit of time to warm up to people, but that wasn't what was happening inside. Both of those people were me, the person who does not want to talk at all in a crowd, but also the one who can't stop talking sometimes. Luckily now I have a YouTube channel, which means I can talk at many people at once and never actually get overstimulated-ish. And while my brain is plenty chaotic on the inside because of my autistic need for order and routine and everything being correct and right, I try really hard to maintain a tidy house clear of clutter because of the visual stimulation that loads of clutter brings me. It stresses me out to have a house that naturally, if left to my own devices, I would make. So I may not look like a typical chaotic ADHDer because my autistic needs dictate that I need to create order and calmness. Yeah, right. Number 3, a larger variety than typical of special interests and or hyperfixations. Now, special interest is a topic that really varies from person to person, even within the autistic spectrum itself. But if you're also an ADHDer, you may be more likely to have more intense special interests for a shorter time, to use up the dopamine before switching to another one, possibly alongside longer running special interests kind of throughout your life that are more stable and less prone to being suddenly bored with it. There is a stereotype that autistic people can only be into one obscure or weird topic their whole lives, but this isn't exactly true. I found myself becoming extremely obsessed with many different things throughout my life so far, while maintaining an ongoing intense special interest in, for example, psychology. That's one of my ongoing special interests. I did a degree in it. But I also have these occasional micro-fixations, which I guess is more like the ADHD hobby merry-go-round. I'll get really into dressmaking for a few weeks, and that's a really intense period of obsession. I remember when that actually happened, I struggled to sleep because of it, because my mind was so busy creating patterns and constructing them and figuring out how to put the dress together and stuff like that. I was sitting there awake at night and my brain would just not turn off because I was so into this particular topic. The intensity of that didn't last long, and now it's kind of something that's, well, actually it's in the cupboard behind me. So special interest is something that varies so much from person to person, but you may relate more to having lots of different ones, or a mixture of lots of different ones and some ongoing ones, than just one or many. I feel like as I've got older, or maybe just because I have kids, I don't really have the energy left for that kind of those intense bursts, but it still happens occasionally. Number 4, different versions of yourself come out at different times and in different places. When I'm out of the house, or when I was at school or working in an office, I believe that my autistic traits became a lot more noticeable. Out of the house, I'm getting some kind of novelty and stimulation. So the ADHD monster within is pretty satisfied because,
hey, we're doing something new, we're getting out, we're seeing things, we're seeing people.
But the things that I can't control out of the house is the sensory environment, and it's a less predictable social environment too. And those are the things that my autistic self starts to struggle with. When I'm at home in the environment that I have set up to be as comfortable for me as possible, my ADHD traits are far more dominant. Within the house, I control the sensory aspects as much as I can, so my autistic side is more or less appeased. But it's a familiar environment, it's pretty predictable, dare I say sometimes boring. So that's when the ADHD traits become way more noticeable to me, when I'm struggling to manage daily life, keep things organized, or struggling to find that kind of novelty in a really familiar place. And number 5, you relate to people who also have both. This is something that is often really missed by the professionals, is relating to other people. And relating to other people is a really important aspect of our humanity. And it's not very easily measurable, but it's something less real because it can't be quantified. At a point after my autism diagnosis, I felt a little bit of kind of imposter syndrome because I was meeting more autistic people and I was a bit like, well, I'm not really completely like them. I'm a bit different from them. And I feel like I am often, dare I say, a little bit too much for autistic people. I talk a lot and I get excited. And when I am being social, I want to be really, really social. So I do actually tend to have more friends who are just ADHDers. The irony is that these people are often too much for me. So I tend to find myself needing more downtime from socializing and more social recovery time than they do. What I'm trying to say is, if you have a couple of friends who have a dual diagnosis, and if you just find yourself clicking with them, or if you think you have one diagnosis, but you don't completely, it doesn't explain everything, you feel it's correct, but it's not everything, maybe that's a sign that you have both as well. And, neurodivergent people do tend to run in packs. We do tend to kind of seek each other out consciously or unconsciously. So, it's not so unlikely. So that was it. 5 signs that you may have both ADHD and be autistic. Let me know if any of this resonates with you, if you have these similar experiences of being kind of in inner conflict with yourselves. Tell me about your inner conflict in the comments. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Sorry for getting jealous of the camera. I am blind as a bat without my glasses, so.
Hi, I'm Caesar Pink. Welcome to my channel. I'm happy you're going to explore some new music with me today. All the proceeds from this channel are donated to the Arete Living Arts Foundation, a 501c3 arts nonprofit. The foundation does a lot of great work helping struggling artists and presenting innovative and meaningful art. We believe art is education, and we believe art is activism. You can learn more about our work at aretellivingarts.org or at the link below. Most of the art we see on a daily basis is presented by large corporations and promotes a message they want you to hear. We believe it is important to fund artists who are independent individuals and who express things that speak to the concerns of everyday people. Please like and subscribe. It's an easy way to help us build our channel. Or if you'd like to donate, you can join our Patreon or make a one-time donation via PayPal. It would be greatly appreciated. Today we're going to look at an artist by the name of Jason Aldean. The song is called Try That in a Small Town. I haven't heard the song, but I've heard about it. Apparently there's some controversy surrounding it. Let's see what it's all about.
No.
That's what we wanted, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I can always get him other stuff to work.
Right. I did ask about the hard drive attachment,
Yeah.
and it's $70,
Less than I paid.
right?
I paid
Yeah, I
$130.
thought I'd check on that price for you, and it was $70. So
Okay.
at least we know we got it.
What the hell is my foundation?
And you know, Mom, I got to thinking about it because we got this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just Kurt buy him another controller.
Yeah. You can do the same for Anna.
Right. And also maybe a charging system as well for the controller. Kurt can buy that shit.
I just use my PlayStation to charge my controllers. I just use a cord. But he might like the charging station.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Because technically you have my charging station.
Right? And if, well, I've got, no, I don't have, yeah, I can always charge controllers at my house.
Why would he have? Why would he need your house when I've got all of it here?
That's fine.
I know you want to see them more, but you need to tell them that.
No, you missed what I'm saying. I was saying if he wants to use your charging station that I have at my house,
Oh.
I can charge the controllers, my controllers at my house using the cord.
I use a cord, so, but you'd have to ask him.
Well, I'll just make her buy him a new one.
That works too.
Huh?
So that works too.
Well, it's not like Kurt does any damn thing else.
Yes, but technically he's not really responsible for Robert.
Yes, I know that. But hey, if he wants to buy Robert for Christmas, I'm all for it.
Yeah, if he brings them this time.
Right?
Because he still hasn't given Annabelle her gifts from last year. So
I know it.
that's why I said don't trust him. I'd prefer to buy it myself.
Right? That's why I went ahead and got it.
Thank you.
Should I leave this behind my seat? I gotta run into the store and grab beer and ice cream.
You got something you can put over it?
No?
I mean, it should be fine. Your windows are dark enough.
Right? And I'm not gonna be in there long.
I put it up as far out of the sight as you can.
That's the problem. I can't because there's nowhere else to put it. It's good.
Can it fit under that seat?
No, the box will not.
Not even if you put the seat down and put it under there? The little back seat, the back seat, not the front.
No.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Quit yelling at me.
I'm not yelling. I'm trying to talk.
I was wondering if that little airplane seat would work.
No, it won't.
Like unfold it and put it under there.
Instead, you know what? I don't know if I got him this one or if I got him the other one.
It really don't matter. They're pretty much the same. The only difference is one's a disc and one's not.
Right? Yeah, they put it in a GameStop bag and in another bag.
It should be fine if you're just going to get beer and ice cream, but if you're in there for a few hours, I'd worry.
No, I'm just getting ice cream and beer. Ice cream, beer, and creamer. That's all I'm getting.
Yeah, and I'm picking up my phone like it's a mirror.
Okay, I'll talk with you when I get home.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Whoops.
somebody on a sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like.
Well, so far the lyrics have been sucker punch somebody on a street, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool? Well, act like a fool if you like. So far, there's nothing in these lyrics that seem problematic. These are things that I think we all agree should never happen. One thing interesting to me about this is labeled as country music, but it just sounds like medium tempo rock music. I'm actually a big fan of traditional country music. People like Hank Williams Sr., Patsy Cline, Bill Anderson, Johnny Cash, mainly pre-1965 era country music. But I don't really understand why this is labeled country. It almost seems like if a singer puts on a cowboy hat and maybe sings a certain type of lyric, they call it country, even though musically it really isn't. It doesn't follow the rhythms or style of traditional country music. But let's see where it goes.
Fool if you like, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think it's tough? Well, try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town.
Now the lyrics get a bit more interesting. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on a flag, light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough? Well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. This is obviously a threat of violence against protesters. Now keep in mind, there's no law against stomping on a flag or burning a flag. In fact, it's protected under the First Amendment. When I was in college, I co-directed a documentary film about the issue. It's called Politic America. I'll put a link to it down below. To use violence to censor political speech is a dangerous thing. Forced nationalism is fascism. Please think about that. Forced nationalism is fascism. Patriotism kind of scares me. Patriotism turns nationalism into a religion. Now, I believe we have a responsibility to take care of our country. I believe that within a democracy, we have a duty to educate ourselves so that we can be informed voters. But educating yourself is hard work. And a lot of the people who are spouting these patriotic slogans aren't willing to do the hard work to educate themselves about the world. It's much easier to blindly believe the rhetoric of some politician and then just repeat it like an obedient sheep. The other thing about this is, I grew up in a small town. I can tell you there was a lot of criminal activity in that small town. Yet right-wing politicians and media like to paint cities as being dens of iniquity where you are not safe to walk down the streets. I live in New York City. I feel safe to walk down the streets at any hour. But let's get back to the music.
Got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. They say one day try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town full of good old boys raised up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a
As the song goes on, the lyrics become more aggressive. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. Again, he's outright threatening people with violence. He's pretending to be an old-fashioned macho man tough guy. I think he sees himself as Clint Eastwood with a guitar instead of a gun. He goes on, got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round them up. Now he's just being absurd and paranoid. No one has ever suggested taking away people's hunting rifles or their guns for home protection. It's just bullshit, really. He continues, well, that shit might fly in a city. Good luck. Try that in a small town. Now the video is showing protesters being beaten by police and being beaten by, I'm not sure who they are. The lyrics are, full of good old boys raised upright. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Now what does he mean by good old boys? What comes to mind when you hear the term good old boys? I think we all picture the same thing. To me, this just sounds like dog whistle racism. And the phrase raised upright is interesting. Does raised upright mean to use violence to stop people who have different political views than you do?
I can't watch this guy.
How can people not see how anti-American this is? It goes against...
There's nothing wrong with that song. Why do you do this every time, Lana? Lana, go lay down. Now, with that last video, I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. It certainly does. But he was talking
Today we're going to be checking out 10 game-changing military weapons the US got coming in 2026. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see this, man. Glad you're here. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you had a good lunch. Hope your toenails are shaved, clipped, whatever you want to call them. Let's go!
America's enemies are about to face their worst nightmare.
What is it?
In 2026, 10 devastating weapons will hit the battlefield that will make every existing defense system completely obsolete.
Yeah.
Number 3 on this list can strike any target on Earth in less than 30 minutes with unstoppable force.
Oh dear.
And number 1? It's so advanced that even talking about it was classified until recently. Let's count them down. Number 10, the XM-157 fire
Look at that. Got about 48 scopes on it.
system. This isn't just a scope. It's a weapon system that turns average soldiers into elite snipers.
What?
Imagine hitting a moving target at 600 meters in complete darkness, in heavy wind, uphill, on your first shot. That's what the XM-157 does.
How?
This system uses integrated laser range finding, ballistic computing, and atmospheric sensors to calculate the perfect shot in milliseconds. It displays the exact aiming point directly in the soldier's sight picture.
What the
Wind
hell?
speed, target movement, bullet drop, all calculated instantly. While enemy forces are still using iron sights and basic optics, American soldiers will have what's essentially a video game aimbot in real life.
They got the aimbot?
The XM-157 is being fielded with the new next-generation squad weapon program, and it represents a 300% increase in first shot hit probability.
300%?
But this is just the infantry upgrade. Wait until you see what's coming for the Navy. Number 9, conventional prompt strike. The Navy's hypersonic beast. The US Navy is about to deploy ship-launched hypersonic missiles that travel at Mach 17.
What's Mach
That's
17?
13,000 miles per hour. At
13,000 mile an hour. What the banana?
that speed, you could fly from New York to Los Angeles in 12 minutes. The Conventional Prompt Strike System, or CPS,
That is
will be
insane.
mounted on Zumwalt-class destroyers and Virginia-class submarines.
Crazy.
These missiles can hit targets 1,725 miles away in less than 10 minutes. Here's why that's terrifying for adversaries. Traditional missile defense systems are designed to intercept missiles traveling at Mach 3 to Mach 5. The CPS travels at Mach 17 and maneuvers unpredictably. Current radar systems can barely track it, let alone stop it. China has invested billions in anti-ship missiles to keep US carriers away from their coastline. The CPS makes all of that investment worthless. American ships can now strike deep into enemy territory from international waters, and there's nothing they can do about it.
That is terrifying,
And that's just the
man.
Navy version.
See if you get actually hit by one of these, though, you wouldn't even know about it. It's good night. And you can't even smell it coming, never mind see it.
The Army has something even more devastating.
What they got?
Number 8, Dark Eagle, America's first operational hypersonic weapon.
Okay.
The Dark Eagle, officially called the Long Range Hypersonic Weapon, or LRHW, is the US Army's game changer. This ground-launched hypersonic missile system will be deployed to the first multi-domain task force in 2026. Each Dark Eagle battery consists of 4 launchers, each carrying 2 missiles. That's 8 hypersonic strikes that can be launched within minutes.
Jesus.
The missiles travel at speeds exceeding Mach 17 and can engage targets across an entire continent. What makes the Dark Eagle truly revolutionary is its mobility.
I was about to
These
say.
launchers are truck-mounted,
Yeah.
meaning they can be positioned anywhere, strike with overwhelming force, and relocate before the enemy even knows what hit them. Russia and China have been bragging about their hypersonic capabilities for years. The Dark Eagle proves that America doesn't just match them, we've surpassed them.
At what point does this progression stop, though? How can we just keep on innovating and inventing new stuff? Surely there's got to be a ceiling to this. You know what I mean? In about 10 years, you keep going at this rate, you'll just be able to make people explode on the other side of the earth.
We're
Like a
not
press of a
stopping
button.
there. The Air Force has been working on something even faster.
Here we go.
Number 7, ARW, the Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon. Pronounced Arrow, this is the Air Force's answer to hypersonic warfare. The AGM-183A
Don't drop
is an
it.
air-launched boost glide missile that can be carried by B-52 bombers and fighter jets.
Whoa.
Here's the tactical advantage. While ground and ship-launched hypersonics are devastating, they're limited by geography. The ARRW can be launched from anywhere in the world, from aircraft that are already in the air,
Yeah.
cutting response time from hours to minutes.
Jesus.
This weapon system can engage time-sensitive targets, enemy leadership, mobile missile launchers, critical infrastructure, before they can be moved or hidden. The boost glide design means it accelerates to hypersonic speeds, then glides unpredictably toward its target, making
I know this is amazing, right? But how cool would it be to actually be screwing them bolts in right now? Like, how cool would this guy feel right now? Guys, just rotating that spanner, whatever it is. I ain't gonna lie, man. I would feel. God damn, let me tell you something, man. I think it would be a better feeling. That would be the coolest job ever.
interception nearly impossible.
Speaking to that bolt's beautiful.
After successful
Beautifully
test
tight.
launches in 2023 and 2024, The ARRW is scheduled for operational deployment in 2026. Enemy commanders will have to
I don't know,
assume
a
that
pre-order?
every B-52 or F-15 in their airspace carries weapons that can reach any target in their country within minutes. But hypersonics aren't the only revolution happening.
What else?
The infantry is getting completely reimagined.
Oh,
Number 6.
okay.
M7 rifle, the next generation squad weapon. For the first time in 65 years, the US military is completely replacing its standard infantry rifle. The M7, chambered in the new 6.8mm round,
there always one
is
before
replacing
M4?
the M4 carbine across the army. Why does this matter? Modern body armor has made traditional 5.56mm rounds less effective. Enemy forces, particularly near-peer competitors like Russia and China, have body armor that can stop multiple 5.56mm hits.
Jesus, serious?
The 6.8mm round punches through level 4 body armor like it's paper. The M7 has an effective range of 600 meters compared to the M4's 300 meters. That means American infantry can engage and eliminate threats at twice the distance. When
Brother,
paired
look
with
at
the
that thing go.
XM-157 fire control system, US soldiers will have precision lethality that no other infantry force on Earth can match.
Fire and
Over
everything coming out.
100,000 M7 rifles are being distributed starting in 2026. Every infantry soldier will have firepower that previously only specialized marksmen possessed. And they're not carrying this alone. There's a support weapon that's just as revolutionary. Number 5. M250 automatic rifle. Squad firepower
Oh, dear.
redefined.
Look at that thing, man.
The M250 is the automatic rifle version of the next generation squad weapon system. This is the weapon that provides suppressive fire for infantry squads, and it's a complete transformation of battlefield tactics.
Jesus.
The M250 fires the same 6.8mm round as the M7, but in automatic mode with a larger magazine capacity. It has an effective range of 800 meters. That's half a mile of sustained automatic fire that can penetrate enemy cover and body armor. Traditional squad
night-night
tactics
though, innit?
relied on suppressive fire to keep enemy heads down while
over.
assault elements maneuvered. The M250
The US military is just becoming unstoppable, though, aren't they?
doesn't just suppress,
Like, what is this?
it eliminates. Enemy forces that try to use cover and concealment to survive will find that cover is no longer enough.
This is alien tech.
We're halfway through this list, and we've already covered weapons that make traditional warfare obsolete. But the top 5
This tech is what was found in Roswell, and like what was like whatever year that was, whatever year that UFO crashed into Roswell. Now they're starting to use it all.
weapons are even more devastating.
100%.
Number 4 is already making enemy air defenses sweat. Number 4, stand-in attack weapon, the air defense killer.
Okay.
The Psi-AW, or stand-in attack weapon, is designed for one
Bro, how are we fitting a 4 in the next 1 minute and a half?
specific purpose: destroying enemy air defense systems
Okay.
before they can react.
Yeah.
Modern warfare depends on air
And
superiority.
speed.
If you control the skies, you control the battlefield. But advanced air defense systems, like the Russian S-400 or Chinese HQ-9,
Yeah.
have made achieving air superiority extremely costly. The Psi-AW changes that equation completely. This missile is designed to be launched from F-35 and F-18 fighters at standoff range.
So cool. Look at
It
those
hones
jets,
in
man.
on enemy radar emissions, traveling at high speeds with advanced maneuvering capabilities.
So you're telling me in the next 30 seconds we're going to go through 3 of this list? I feel like we're about to get bamboozled and hoodwinked here, guys.
Once enemy radar systems turn on to track American aircraft, the Psi-AW locks onto that signal and destroys the system within seconds.
Okay.
The beauty of this weapon is its tactical flexibility. Enemy forces face an impossible choice. Turn on your air defense radar and get destroyed by Psi-AW, or keep your radar off and be blind to incoming American aircraft. Either way, they lose. The Psi-AW
This is
is
a piss
scheduled
take.
for initial operational capability in
Where's the
late
top 3?
2026. And when it arrives, it will be paired with something that makes air dominance even more unstoppable.
I have never in my life been teased so much. Wait a minute, is no one talking about this? Where is the top 3?
And number 1? It's so advanced that even talking about it was classified until recently.
Well, clearly it still is because you didn't bloody talk about it, you turkey. Anyway, that was a really cool video up until we got flipping. We basically got our trunks pulled down and then our date left and went home. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this guy stubs his toe on a door. Before you go, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for sitting and watching this with me. Appreciate it a lot. If you can, leave a like, leave a sub, and maybe follow me on Twitch. We can watch stuff like this together in the live format. It would be beautiful. You probably won't. It's completely fine, I suppose.
I'd love to.
Goodbye.
That's better. Don't worry, I know it looks a mess right now. See? Looks better, not quite done yet. But just get it in the corner. Got it. Oy. Okay. Yeah, see how big this is?
You gonna say hello? Sorry, guys, we've been interrupted. It's a baby. Guys, today we're going to be watching a video that might trigger a couple of people. This is the story of Jessica Buchanan. I'm pretty sure I've said that right. She was an American aid worker and got kidnapped by Somali pirates in a 93-day ordeal. I have never heard of this story before, but today we're going to be checking it out for the first time. So please, sit back, relax, and let's check this out.
Tonight, for the first time, we have the story of the rescue of Jessica Buchanan. It is the tale of a secret mission by SEAL Team 6 that few people have heard about until now. On a January night in 2012, members of SEAL Team 6 jumped from a plane into the skies of Somalia. Jessica Buchanan was being held hostage, and the SEALs were descending just in time. Buchanan was a humanitarian aid worker who had come to help children in one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Hers was an
How sick does that make you feel? That this woman went to literally help children and then gets captured by these absolute pieces of shit. There's not enough words in our dictionary I could use to describe these people, man. Oh my goodness. Before I click play again, do you guys remember watching this on TV? Does anybody remember seeing this on TV? If so, let me know what your thoughts were during that time.
ordeal that ended in a flash of violence, but had begun 93 days earlier
3
when
months.
her car was stopped by bandits in a place she calls hell.
The
Oh
story
my God,
will continue
this
in a
is-
moment.
This is scary.
We stopped very abruptly, like so abruptly that I felt like everybody just fall forward. And then I start hearing all of this pounding on the windows and the windshield and all this shouting in Somali. And there's a man standing there screaming, and he has an AK-47 and he's shouting and
Of
he's
course it's
pointing
an
it
AK.
at us. And then he climbs into the car next to me and he points an AK in my face. And they're hyped up like they're on speed. And all of a sudden we just take off. The driver just takes off and we just start slamming.
Do you think these people are on drugs?
Well, I don't know what you
Like
want me to do.
she says, he was hyped up on speed. Do you think they are? Do you think they're all taking that shit over there, man?
All over the place, down these camel tracks.
What did you think they were going to do?
I figured they were going to rape me.
Oof.
Yeah, you're supposed to
And then
ask,
kill me.
otherwise you won't know which one.
And I just keep thinking,
Oh.
this can't be the end. This can't be the end of my life.
Well, yeah, but it might not be.
I'm only 32 years old. I haven't had any children yet.
That is
I
absolutely.
didn't get to say goodbye.
Digital Fortnite one in stock.
Yeah, but
Because I specifically asked.
did you tell him it was the 1 terabyte? Well, then I don't
And
know.
this one that they gave me is 825 gigs.
Well, it's not going to be a full terabyte because it's got the system stuff on it too. Kind of like your cell phone.
This is 825 gigs.
Well, you're missing my point, Mom. It could be the system stuff that's up there. Like my computer, half the memory can't be used because the phone is system taking it up.
Oh, from the looks of it, I got $30 off.
Yeah. They might have done that because they didn't have the terabyte.
The total comes to $414.63.
Well, yeah, and it was originally $449, was it not?
$369 because it was Slim Digital.
No.
And I got that Sony gives it a 1-year warranty, looks like.
That's why I prefer Sony over PlayStation or Xbox any day.
But it looks like I paid for the 1-year warranty.
I don't know, Mom.
You want me to send you?
It sounds like you need to go back up to GameStop and bitch.
That's what it sounds like to me too. Because I did not want.
I mean, if you can wait till tomorrow, I'll go up with you tomorrow, and we can get the right one.
Yeah, it looks like they charged me for the 1-year warranty.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was $44.
and they're not supposed to unless you tell them to.
I didn't tell them to. I told them I didn't need it.
So I will, like I said, if you can wait till tomorrow.
Let me go up there and bitch anyway.
Well, that's fine, but if you can wait till tomorrow to take it up there, I will help you.
Okay?
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye to Eric. I didn't get to say goodbye to my dad. Like, this can't be the end.
Jessica Buchanan was facing the end at the end of the earth. Somalia, on the farthest tip of Africa, is war-torn and lawless.
This is essentially no man's land.
Militias battle over an unforgiving land, as we saw while covering a famine there in 2011. It was the same year that Buchanan was with a Danish charity teaching children how to avoid landmines. On October 25th, her car was hijacked.
The driver is driving like just a madman. We're bouncing all over the place. My head keeps hitting the window. It keeps hitting the roof. I'm holding on to the side, the handle on the Land Cruiser, just trying to keep myself steady.
What happened next?
It gets dark and we've changed vehicles a couple of times. More people have come. They're screaming. And I hear from behind me a higher pitched voice going on in Somali, and I think I have a woman involved in this. And I turn around and I see a small child in the back of the Land Cruiser with an AK-47.
Oh no.
Draped in ammunition. And I think the irony of why I came to Africa in the first place.
Kids?
Exactly the kid you were trying to save. A child soldier.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
Learning the trade.
She'd been kidnapped along with a co-worker, Paul Thisted. They drove into the night and then were ordered to march into the desert.
And they tell us to get down onto our knees. And I think, okay, this is it. Like, I'm bracing myself to be shot in the back of the head.
This is horrible.
And I think that there's mercy in the fact that maybe they're not going to rape me first, but that it's just going to be quick. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden somebody shouts from behind us, "Sleep." And I'm thinking, oh my God, I didn't hear that correctly, did I? He just said sleep.
She collapsed, slept through the night, and the next morning was met by the man who led the bandits.
And we ask him, are you going to kill us? Is that why we're here? He says, no. Money. We just want money.
It's always money, isn't it? It's always money. It's such a sad situation, man, because, you know, this money isn't gonna probably, if they got the money, which I'm gonna assume they probably didn't, because America don't fucking negotiate with terrorists, I'm gonna assume that money probably wouldn't even went to anything good. It would have just funded their militias, funded their guns, funded more bad shit. Because I don't mean to be negative, Nancy, man, but that country is, you might want to mute me. I gave you 3 seconds to mute me or turn me down. Fucked. That country is well gone. There's no hope for that country. It's gone. Finished. Absolutely finished. So, like, her seeing the kids that she's supposed to be there to save, kid soldiers, that's the irony of her going to this place to save these kids, to then be captured by kid soldiers who literally have a gun and ammunition over their shoulder.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, what the hell? It's always money, though, innit? It's always money. It's never, yo, we're capturing these people and we'll give you them back if you deliver loads of food for our country. It's always money. Money, 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 money. Fuckers. Sorry.
How much were they asking for?
They started out at $45 million.
They thought you were pretty valuable.
I guess so.
The bandits used her cell phone to call her husband, Eric Landemam. The two had married on an African beach 2 years before. But his number and the numbers of Buchanan's family had all been disconnected. It was part of the charity's emergency plan. The one number that worked was her Nairobi office with a hostage negotiator standing by.
Oh my goodness.
And so began months of talks.
Where did they keep you? Day in, day out?
Under trees.
Oh.
Outside.
You were outdoors for 93 days?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then in the night, they forced us to sleep out in the open.
What were the nights like?
Long and cold. Then the rainy season hit, and it would rain all night long, and you're already freezing, so then you're sitting there wet.
What were you eating?
Tuna fish, maybe once a day. We would get a small can of tuna fish and a piece of bread.
Did you feel like you were beginning to lose your humanity at any point?
Oh, God. Guys, be honest, and be honest with yourself. And put yourself in this lady's situation, right? How long do you think it would take you to lose your mind? Bro, I'd give it 2 weeks. I would give it 2 weeks. I would lose my mind. This lady and the other guy went 93 days.
Yeah, I mean,
Holy.
they treated us like animals. To be so sick that, you know, you're vomiting behind bushes and you can't walk straight. And you're laying in the fetal position on the ground under a tree, and they don't care. Their duty was to keep me from dying because then I wasn't worth anything.
They were in the hands of men and boys who were chewing khat. It's a plant with the same effect as amphetamines.
They were so hyped up on speed. It was like drinking pot after pot of coffee. And then the crash would come, and then it brought a lot of belligerence and a lot of anger and a lot of temper.
You and Paul came up with nicknames for a lot of the people who were keeping you. That's
What a
one of the
mess
ways
of a
you kept
country.
yourself occupied.
We did.
The 10-year-old boy?
Crack baby, because he was cracked out all the time. He was chewing khat, and he had 2 black holes for eyes. There was nothing inside.
This is one of the camps where she was held. The bandits hit her, pointed their guns at her, and put a knife to her throat. But it was exposure that took a toll. She lost 25 pounds. After 3 weeks, the bandits made a video to prove that she was alive.
Have you seen the video?
I have.
Paul and myself, Jessica, we are safe and we are alive.
I can tell I'm starting to lose hope at that point.
But hope would have to last for 2 more months.
As the many weeks went by, did you think the American government's watching me, they know where I am, and somebody's going to get me out of here?
No.
Why?
Because I'm just an aid worker.
You didn't imagine that the president...
Do you know, flipping hell, man. This shows you how, I don't know what the right word is to use. Badass? Awesome? Amazing, probably? The US government the US military that this lady, an aid worker, literally got the entire fucking SEAL team out to save her. Like, that is incredible.
The United States knew your name.
Never. Never in a million years.
Wow.
After 3 months in the desert, Buchanan had a serious urinary tract infection.
Oh, dear.
And in a final call to the hostage negotiator, she said this.
I'd become so ill that I couldn't stand up. I couldn't walk. So I was in so much pain. And I said, I think I have a kidney infection. And I started to cry and I said, I'm afraid I'm going to die out here.
When that call was received here in Nairobi, it set off a chain of events that led all the way to the Oval Office. The FBI and the military consulted doctors who said that if Jessica had a kidney infection, she might have just 2 weeks to live. That was transmitted to the president, who was also informed that in just a few days, there would be a new moon. Perfect darkness for a SEAL team rescue.
Jessica Buchanan had chosen a star.
Who was the president in this year? It's 1987, right? Who was the president in 1987?
In the Somali sky to represent her mother, who had passed away a year before. She spoke to it every night, and with no moon, it was especially bright on January 25th.
What did you say that night?
Please tell God that I need some help. We need to get out of here.
You couldn't have known that that prayer would be answered that night.
I had no idea.
She was on a mat trying to sleep when she heard a faint scratching noise.
I'm getting goosebumps.
One of the bandits she nicknamed Helper heard it too.
And I see this look of just sheer terror on Helper's face. And then all of a sudden, it's just this eruption of gunfire. And I think, okay, well, this is it. This really is truly the end. And I cover up with my blanket again, and I just start saying, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I just remember thinking, or maybe I'm saying out loud, like, I cannot survive this.
She thought she was being taken by a rival group, maybe Al-Shabaab.
I was literally just going to say, I bet you the guys, the Somali pirates that captured her, maybe also thought that it was another rival gang. So maybe that's why they didn't kill her. Because if they knew it was SEAL Team 6, or the SEAL Team, I'm not too sure in the number, they probably would have just killed her. Because they knew they were coming for her. But if they thought it was another militia coming to take her so that they could negotiate for the money that never would have came in first place, that's why they probably didn't shoot her. Wow.
Islamic extremists who would surely kill her.
And then all of a sudden, I feel all these hands on me, roughly grabbing at me. And I try to protect myself. And I pull the blanket closer on top of me. And then I hear my name. But it's not
How did they
a Somali
know where
accent.
they were?
It's an American accent.
How did they know where they were?
And I can't compute, like I can't understand that somebody with an American accent knows my name. And they say, Jessica, we're with the American military. We're here to take you home.
Jesus
And you're
Christ,
safe.
man. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine hearing that?
And they pull the blanket down from my face and all I see is black masks, black sky, and all I can say over and over is, you're American. You're American. I don't understand. You're Americans. Thinking, how did you get here? And I'm still alive. And they ask me where my shoes are, and I don't know. And one of them picks me up and starts running. He runs for several minutes and it puts me down on the ground. And then they identify themselves, and that they knew I was very sick. And they have medicine.
Wow.
They have water, they have food, and they've come to take me home.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I think they thought they heard something, or I don't know. This group of men who's risked their life for me already asks me to lie down on the ground because they're concerned.
Yeah, it's you.
Ah! Ah!
Say, ah!
Because they're concerned that there might be someone out there, and then they make a circle around me, and then they lie down on top of me.
Damn.
To protect me.
Wow, that's flipping crazy.
And we lay like that until the helicopters come in.
So they lay on
And
top
all
of
of
her,
those SEALs laid down on top of you.
literally risking their life for this lady.
You were the most important thing in the world to them.
That's insane.
It's really hard to comprehend.
They were going to take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
And they're so
hell, man.
kind, and they're so gentle, and they are trying to assist me to get to the helicopter. But I think I've been out here for months. I can run to this helicopter myself, and so I just break away and I just take off running through the scrub, through the bush, and I throw myself onto that helicopter and push myself up against the wall. And I don't start breathing until we actually lift up off the ground. And they hand me an American flag that's folded.
What did you think of that?
I just started to cry. At that point in time, I have never in my life been so proud and so very happy to be an American.
I can
The
imagine.
SEALs left on other helicopters. She didn't see their faces, didn't hear their names. They appeared, and they were gone. The only thing left in the camp were 9 dead bandits.
Oh, what a shame. Hope the fucking rotten hell. But do you know how amazing that is? Like, they were ordered to just go and save this girl, literally risked their life, and then protected her life with their own bodies. Like, they were willing to take a bullet, and they didn't even want recognition, didn't give their names. They were there to do their job. Like, that job is incredible. Do you know how big your balls have to be to do that job? I know I couldn't do it. Absolutely not.
Mr. Speaker!
It all ended just hours before the State of the Union address. As the president walked in, he had a secret with Defense Secretary Leon Panetta that almost no one understood until later.
Good job tonight. Good job tonight.
Wait a minute. For whatever reason, I thought this was a story from 1987. It was 2012. My bad. Earlier I asked who was the president, and now I'm seeing Barack Obama. It's obviously not in 1987. My goodness, I don't know how I've got that mixed up. I have seen 1987 somewhere, and it's just stuck in my brain. My bad.
After the speech, President Obama called Buchanan's father. Jessica met her husband, Eric, at a U.S. base in Italy.
Wow.
I just couldn't believe he was standing there and that I was standing there. And we had a second chance. And then later we flew to Portland, Oregon, and I was reunited with my father and my brother and my sister and her husband.
Incredible story, though.
What was the first thing you said to your father?
Daddy.
Oh.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through this.
Damn.
But we made it.
It's got me emotional, man.
So did her Danish co-worker, Paul Fisted, who was also rescued by the SEALs. He said later that his lucky break was being captured with an American. Jessica Buchanan has told her story in a new book, Impossible Odds, coming out this week. You may recall that she said that her first thought when being taken was that she was too young to die because she hadn't had children. Well, she's taken care of that too. She and her husband have a baby boy, and they've moved back to the States from East Africa.
Good. Wow. What a story. A story of, I think the best way to describe that is a story of bravery from all fronts. The people who rescued her, and obviously the more important, her just not losing total hope, being brave every single day. Because I know I probably would have tried to run. I probably would have tried to run numerous times. I probably wouldn't have ended up well. So to stay in a headspace where she's just like, and there's two of them, remember, there isn't just Jessica, there's two people. For them both to stay so brave in a situation that it would probably feel hopeless is absolutely incredible. Oh my goodness, man. I got goosebumps. I had a tear in my eye. Flipping hell. Wow. If that doesn't make you proud to be American, man, I honestly do not know what will. I don't know what will. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. If there's any more stories like this that I could check out, do let me know in the comments. Go down into those comments right now and you use those little fingers, type me up a comment, let me know. Either way, please leave a like on the video. It helps me out. Please subscribe. It helps me out just as much.
Might have a lot to do with this lighting.
"50 US geography facts that seem fake but are 100% true." Like, the thing about the US that I find so cool is that because it's so big, like, there's just so much to know. Like, I don't think it's possible to know everything about any country, let alone the US, because of how big it is, how, like, culturally and geographically diverse it is. It's just so big that geography-wise, there's bound to be, like, new interesting things that get discovered, like, every day.
Did you know that England still owns part of the United States? Or that an Iowa town found itself on the opposite side of a river overnight? What if we told you the Grand Canyon isn't the deepest canyon in the country? Then why is it so famous then? Well, we're about to explain all of this to you. So prepare for 50 absolutely mind-blowing US geography facts you probably didn't know. Starting with fact 50, the longest place name in the United States is, stay with me here, Lake Chagagagog Manchagagog Chabanagungumog.
What the heck is this like Native American maybe? Like, that's the only language that I can think of that has a word like this. Wow.
With 45 characters within its name, Lake Chagagagog Manchagagog Chabanagungumog, located in Massachusetts, is the longest place name in the country and the third longest in the world. And it took me all morning to practice it. It's a Nipmuc name, from the language of the indigenous people who used to live in that area. So what does Lake Chagagagog Manchagagog Chabanagungumog translate to?
Lake Chagagog Magungagog Chakamunganug. I definitely butchered that. Try and pronounce that name. Try and say it. Hold on, let's go back here. Lake Chagagag Gagamunchagag Gogchamungbana.
Indigenous people who used to live in that area. So what does Lake Chagagagog Manchagagog Chabanagungumog translate to? English knifemen and Nipmuc Indians at the boundary or neutral fishing place. Of course, it's now nicknamed Webster Lake, so people can make picnic or fishing plans without sounding like they're having a medical emergency. But locals take pride in its extra long title and have fought to keep it the lake's official name to this day. Fact 49. Texas is even bigger than you think.
Doesn't Texas kind of look like a mini version of America? Kind of. Like, if you kind of tilted it around, this bit kind of looks like this, and this bit kind of looks like that, doesn't it?
Did you know that the distance from El Paso to Houston and El Paso to Los Angeles is almost the same? Turns out Texas is really big. El Paso is 700 miles, or about 1,100 kilometers east of LA, and almost 670 miles, or just under 1,100 kilometers west of Houston. In total, Texas is around 770 miles wide, just north of 1,200 kilometers.
That's insane. Like, 700 miles is more than the bottom of the country of England to the top. Like, I think if you drove from Cornwall up to like Newcastle, it's like maybe 300-400 miles max,
making it almost 1/10 the entire diameter of Earth. So now that we've gone really big, let's go really tiny. Fact 48. The smallest park in the world is a leprechaun colony in Oregon. Mill Ends Park is a tiny circular park in Portland, Oregon that measures just 2 feet wide and has just one lonely tree growing on it. It's on the charming, picturesque median strip of Southwest Nido Parkway. In 1948, it was just a patch of dirt meant for a light pole. Local journalist Dick Fagan, whose office overlooked the patch of land, saw weeds growing over time, but there was no light pole in sight. So he planted flowers and named it Millends after his column. But where do the leprechauns come in? Well, Fagan claims he saw one digging in this patch of grass. He grabbed the leprechaun, who granted him one wish. Fagan asked for a park of his own, so that's what Millends became. On St. Patrick's Day 1976, Portland signed off on this wild story by dedicating the park as the only leprechaun colony west of Ireland.
Wow.
Fact 40.
I thought a park, to be called a park, had to be a minimum, like a size. You know, I would have thought it'd be at least sort of 1 mile around, at least. Like, you know, because when you think of a park, you think it's like a big open space with lots of nature and stuff like that. At least that's what I would imagine a lot of people think.
7. The U.S.'s deepest lake was formed by a volcanic eruption. In the stunning wilderness of Oregon, you'll find Crater Lake. It's over 1,900 feet deep, making it the deepest lake in the United States. 6 statues of Liberty stacked foot to torch could fit in it. Given the name, it's perhaps unsurprising that the lake was formed by a volcanic eruption. Mount Mazama, part of the Cascade Range, erupted for the last time around 5700 BC and collapsed in on itself from the strength of the eruption. It lost 2,500 to 3,500 feet of height because of that eruption. This formed a caldera that slowly got filled in with water. The symmetrical base of the caldera is why Crater Lake is considered the 10th deepest lake in the world when measured at its deepest point. However, it does hold the title of the deepest lake in the Western Hemisphere based on average depth, just over 1,100 feet or 335 meters. Fact 46.
Are there any fish down there? Like, are there any, you know, is there any sort of life in that? Because that is really deep. 900 feet, that is so deep, you know. Like, I'm just judging it by swimming pools. That's like, I mean, it's impossible to say, like 50 swimming pools deep.
Over half of America's population lives in 10 states. These 10 states are New York, California, Georgia, Texas, Illinois, North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. It's no coincidence that these states include some of the biggest cities in terms of population in the country. Major centers like New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Philadelphia, San Diego, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and others give these regions a big population boost. The population of the 10 states mentioned previously adds up to around 170 million people, while the total U.S. population is approximately 345 million. That's not the craziest U.S. population fact, though, leading us to fact number 45.
I mean, that must mean that there's huge pockets of the USA that are like empty, that are like, you know, there's barely any people there. Like, what is the most, like the least populated state in the US? Like the emptiest one where, you know, there's barely any people.
5. Los Angeles County has a bigger population than 40 U.S. states. LA County has 9.7 million residents, making it the most populous county in the United States. This also makes it bigger by population than a whopping 40 other U.S. states, placing it right between Michigan, with 10 million people as of 2023, and New Jersey, with around 9.3 million people.
Wow.
A state like Wyoming, on the other hand, is 24 times as large as LA County, yet only has about 580,000 people within its borders.
Wow.
Speaking of that,
so if you took LA out of California, it would be bigger than like 80% of US states. Or no, it'd be bigger than like, was it, I think 20% of US states. I mean, either way, that's insane. That is crazy.
State. Fact number 44. Wyoming is named after an area near Scranton, Pennsylvania. It takes almost 24 hours to drive to Cheyenne, Wyoming from Scranton, Pennsylvania. So why in the world is Wyoming named after an area near this East Coast town? Well, the name Wyoming actually comes from the Delaware Indians, which may be derived from their word. Wyoming, or Wyoming, meaning end of plains. And there are two possible reasons it ended up so far west. One is that there was endless debate over what to name this new territory, to the point where Congress got fed up and just randomly gave it this Native American name that fit the new state's geography. The second, and more favored explanation, is that since indigenous people from Delaware were forced west through Ohio, Kansas, and then ended up near and in Wyoming, they took this name along with them. To this day, the area around Scranton is still named Wyoming Valley. Fact 43. Driving south from Detroit takes you into Canada. It's easy to forget that many of Canada's major population centers sit at latitudes that also run through northern states. We often think of Canada as being...
I'm guessing it's this pocket here, so if you drive straight down, you'll get into this part of Canada.
Above the US, after all, but one of Canada's most populated peninsulas dips south and west toward Michigan. This means that if you drive south of Detroit, you'll end up in the Canadian city of Windsor. In fact, you don't even have to drive that far. The tunnel that separates the two cities is just under a mile long. However, thanks to border checkpoints, the drive is a lot longer than you'd think. It's not the only time the Canadian border was deceiving, though. Fact 42. Some Californians live north of the Canadian border. Most people wouldn't believe this is possible, since we associate California with surf and sand.
Mate, I would love to be, like, on a beach right now. Just, you know, the sound of the ocean waves and the breeze you get. Oh my God.
And Canada with moose and polite tundra-dwelling people. But it's true. California's northern border is at 42 degrees latitude, while Canada's southernmost point is at 41.7 degrees latitude, found at Middle Island in Lake Erie. Then again, some insane geographical phenomena show that borders can always change. Fact 41. The San Andreas Fault swallows almost 2 inches of land in California every year.
Wow.
If you've ever visited California, you've likely heard of the San Andreas Fault. This massive fracture in the Earth marks the boundary where the Pacific Plate, shifting westward toward Japan, and the North American Plate grind against each other, shaking the ground beneath our feet.
And that's what causes earthquakes, right? When tectonic plates rub up against each other, I think.
These plates consume roughly 2 inches or 5 centimeters of land each year. At that pace, in 15 million years, San Francisco and Los Angeles could practically be neighbors. Fact number 40. The US has some of the most navigable waterways in the world. One of the reasons the US became so successful is thanks to its huge waterways. Not only do they reach deep into the country's interior, which has some wild hidden features that we'll get to soon, but they are also navigable, meaning deep, wide, and calm. This is unlike other rivers in northern countries that generally freeze over, preventing ships from sailing on. In total, the US has anywhere from 17,600 to 25,000 miles of such waterways that reach 38 separate states. The count varies depending on the source.
So I'm guessing that lets you sort of move things around, whether it's people, products, anything really. Like, you don't always have to fly it or drive it into that place. You can just take a boat.
These waterways allowed trade to flourish in areas far from the coasts, with cargo ships making their way up and down the Mississippi, Missouri, and other rivers in the early days of the country. They supplied new cities and created new economic centers. A lot of the rivers are also interconnecting, enabling people to move through several regions of the US without too much effort. How long are these rivers exactly? Well, that takes us to fact 39. It takes 90 days for 1 drop of water to travel the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River is over...
So that's the Mississippi River. So it goes pretty much across the whole country. I knew it was big, but I didn't realize it was this big. So, I mean, if the US is like 2,000 miles across, roughly, that would make this at least sort of like 1,000 miles? Like, how long is the Mississippi River from top to bottom?
For 2,300 miles long.
Whoa.
If you spilled a drop of water in the river source in Minnesota, it would reach the Gulf of Mexico in 90 days, just about 3 months. That's about how long a person averaging 30 miles an hour would need to walk from New York to Los Angeles. Fact 38.
Jeez, I was so off. Which means the US is probably much bigger than 2,000 miles across, right? So, I mean, it's got to be like double, maybe 4,000 miles? That is huge if that's the case.
Yellowstone National Park is home to a supervolcano. Ever wonder why Yellowstone has so many geysers and hot springs? Turns out it's because the park is an active volcano. Sorry, excuse us, supervolcano. Supervolcanoes are named not for their size, but rather for the amount of material they spew in the air. In this case, more than 240 cubic miles, or about 1,000 cubic kilometers. The first major eruption 2.1 million years ago covered an area of almost 5,800 miles with ash, an area about half as big as all of Hawaii. If you have a visit planned, the bad news is that the supervolcano is not extinct. The good news is that the last eruption was 640,000 years ago. Yellowstone is currently dormant, and scientists would have several months of warnings if an eruption were to occur again. Speaking of places with volcanoes, fact number 37.
Yeah, I heard that if Yellowstone was to erupt, it could potentially be like a massive catastrophe, couldn't it? Like, because of the size of it and the amount of like lava and smoke it would pump out. Would it be like a world-ending event? Probably not, but I mean, it would probably be bad, wouldn't it?
7. It snows in Hawaii. Though it's known as a tropical destination, Hawaii gets a fair amount of snow every winter thanks to its incredibly tall mountains. The tops of Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, and Haleakala mountains on Maui reach over 10,000 feet or 3,000 meters into the atmosphere and get covered with snow in the winter months. Mauna Kea actually means White Mountain because the top is so often snow-capped. Hawaii also has another cool distinction. Fact number 36. Hawaii is the only state with borders defined by natural features. Many states have some borders defined by natural features.
I'm guessing because Hawaii is just literally, you know, islands in the ocean. But yeah, but back to the last one, I never would have thought it would snow in Hawaii. When I think of Hawaii, I think of sunshine, I think of palm trees, you know, I think of, those flower necklace things that they wear. I think it's beautiful, but I wouldn't have thought snow would be something you would ever see in Hawaii.
Rivers, for example. But Hawaii is the only state bordered exclusively by natural features. Every other state has at least one straight line. Which makes sense since, well, Hawaii is a bunch of islands, otherwise known as an archipelago. It's hard to draw a line when the ocean draws the border for you. Unlike many older European countries, whose borders are usually drawn by mountain ranges, rivers, and other natural features, many U.S. states, especially those in the West and Midwest, were more recently and artificially drawn to follow the lines set by treaties, contracts, and other agreements. That's why the Rocky Mountains barrel through the middle of states like New Mexico and Colorado, which doesn't make much sense as it divides the land instead of neatly forming a border. Fact number 35. The tallest tree in the world is in California, but its location is off limits.
Oh, so it wasn't in the Sequoia National Park? I thought it would have been one of the redwoods or something.
Somewhere deep in California's Redwood National Park lies a 600 to 800-year-old redwood named Hyperion that towers 380 feet or 115 meters over
800 years old. That is incredible. Like, that is as old as, you know, St. Paul's Cathedral, like one of the oldest buildings in the UK.
Over everything around it. However, you can't go take a photo of it because you'll be fined. No formal trail led to the tree itself, as it was kept in a closed area to minimize the amount of damage people could do to it. However, nature and Instagram enthusiasts found it anyway, and rangers started seeing human waste and trash near Hyperion. So, Hyperion is now strictly off limits, and anyone who tries to approach it and gets caught is looking at a $5,000 fine or 6 months in jail. Or both. Park rangers say it's not that impressive anyway, as you can't see the height from the ground, and the trunk isn't that big. But the biggest tree is also in the same state, which...
I will say that when I went to the Sequoia National Park, it was one of my best days, honestly. Like, it just seeing how big some of these trees are, you know, and how wide that they are, the trunks, it blew my mind. I would go back in a heartbeat. It just, if you live in California or if you live nearby, you've got to go. You have to, man. It was just, It's amazing.
Which leads us to fact number 34. The largest tree in the world is in Sequoia National Park, California, named General Sherman. Fitting for such a stately tree, this redwood measures 52,500 cubic feet, or just under 1,500 cubic meters in total volume. For comparison, that's about 3/5 the size of an Olympic swimming pool. The tree's circumference near the ground is a staggering 103 feet, or over 30 meters. It's an impressive sight, and one of the main attractions of Sequoia National Park. Shockingly, though, this isn't the last tree record the US, or more specifically California, holds. Fact number 33. The world's oldest living tree is in Inyo National Forest. California is great at getting
I thought the oldest tree was the Hyperion one. The one that he said was 600 to 800 years old.
trees to grow. In the White Mountains, researcher Edmund Shulman found a bristlecone pine he estimated to be over 4,600 years old. The tree, named Methuselah, is on the Methuselah Trail, but the Forest Service keeps its exact location a secret. Perhaps that's because when geographer Donald R. Curry found the previous oldest living tree, estimated to be 4,900 years old, he cut it down to take core samples.
Why did he do that? I mean, what kind of person finds something that old and just cuts it? That's insane.
Regardless, it's cool to imagine that Methuselah was a young sapling around the same time construction started on the Great Pyramid of Giza. Fact 32. The US includes all major biomes. One of the most amazing things about the US, besides its huge size, is the variety of its landscapes. In fact, the country includes every major biome and almost every subtype of biome except the savanna. Tundra, taiga, rainforest, temperate forest, desert, freshwater, marine, and grasslands are all represented in the 48 states, as well as Hawaii and Alaska. Almost no other country can claim the same. Fact number 31. The US is home to the sunniest place in the world.
I'm guessing that's going to be in Arizona, because I heard in Arizona they just get so much sunshine, and it's like the summers can get just ridiculously hot.
Since it gets more than 4,000 sunlight hours per year, Yuma, Arizona is the sunniest place on Earth. It has an average of 13 hours of sunlight in the summer and 11 hours per day during the winter. Fact number 30. Tampa, Florida is west of all of mainland South America. South America sits...
Sorry if I made anybody jump just now. I was just happy that I got it right.
It's directly underneath North America. However, most of the continent is far to the east of most of North America. Sao Paulo, Brazil is a full 2 hours ahead of New York City. The continent is so far east that Tampa, Florida is west of the entire South American mainland. Only the Galapagos sit west of the city. Fact 29. The longest boardwalk in the world is in Atlantic City. Today, Atlantic City is mostly known for its casinos, but decades before the first casino was built, Atlantic City was most famous for its boardwalk. The structure is 5.5 miles long, and in addition to being the longest, it's also the oldest boardwalk in the world.
That would be so cool to walk along. You know, if you've got like a whole day, just walking along the boardwalk, looking at the water, getting some food. This would be such a fun thing to do. Is the boardwalk, I'm sure, still, you know, a tourist attraction today, isn't it? You can still go there, have a good time.
The plan for the boardwalk was devised all the way back in 1870. Fact number 28. Louisiana is home to the longest bridge that continuously runs across water. Lake Pontchartrain Causeway is almost 24 miles long, about 38 kilometers, and sits on 9,500 concrete pilings. The New Orleans area bridge connects Metairie to Mandeville. It opened in 1956 to help commuters across Lake Pontchartrain without having to go all the way around to access the big city.
So impressive that they managed to build something like this in the 50s. Like, with the technology they had, that is so impressive.
Though residents appreciate the bridge, it's so long that drivers lose sight of land for an 8-mile stretch. Sometimes this panics people into a kind of freeze mode, resulting in police having to provide an escort to the other side. Really? Fact number 27. The Delmarva Peninsula keeps trying to form a new state. Bordered by the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, the Delmarva Peninsula is a 170-mile peninsula divided between Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. It was named using a combination of the three states' names and abbreviations. All three states initially fought to get part of the peninsula thanks to its coastline and fishing access. They now want to keep it thanks to the tourism its beaches and seaside recreation attract. However, the residents have a lot of local pride, especially those within Maryland. They've tried to form a separate state a few times, the last attempt made in 1998. Though the movement has been unsuccessful, lots of local businesses, like the Regional Power Company, still keep the Delmarva name. Fact 20.
Do you think there's ever going to be a new state or like a division of states or a state wanting to leave the union? Do you think that's ever going to happen? Or do you think how it is now will always be the way the US is? If I had to pick one, I reckon, it's hard to say, but I do think it's going to remain as it is now. But you just never know, do you? You never know.
26. Maine is south of Paris. Since Paris and London seem to have comparable weather to New York City, and sometimes even milder temperatures, many Americans imagine those European cities exist at a similar latitude. But the fact is, the entire state of Maine is south of Paris, and London sits above most of the US except for Alaska. The only reason these European cities don't feel that far north is because they get warmed by the Gulf Stream. Speaking of London, fact number 25. A tiny part of the US still belongs to England. A small plot of land in the town of Ocracoke, on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, is indefinitely leased to England. It contains a cemetery where the bodies of 4 sailors that died aboard the HMS Bedfordshire in World War II are buried. These were the only bodies to wash ashore. 37 sailors died in total. The land was leased to England, so the men would technically be buried in their home country. You know who surprisingly doesn't?
That's a nice little touch, you know. That's clearly done for like diplomacy and just, you know, showing cooperation between the two of us.
Own that much land in the US? Fact number 24. Only 2.3% of US land is for indigenous people. Native American reservations occupy around 56 million acres, or 226,000 square kilometers, which translates to 2.3% of the total area of the United States. Considering Native Americans once occupied all of the United States, that's quite the loss of land. Much of the land given to Native Americans is also less than ideal for farming and having drinkable water. You know who does get a lot of land, though? Fact number 23. Over 1/3 of all land in the contiguous US is for cows. What happens on the endless acres of empty-looking land in the US? Turns out, it's mostly cows munching on it. The biggest use of land in the contiguous US, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, of course, is as pastures for cattle. A much smaller portion is used for horses, sheep, goats, and other animals. It all adds up to 654 million acres, or 2.6 million square kilometers, or 35% of the total land. If you
Yeah, I think the US is one of the world's largest producers of beef, isn't it? I think it's up there. It's definitely in the top. I think it's in the top 5.
Add in cropland used to produce cow feed, which is an additional 124 million acres, you get 41% of all land use. Maybe that's why 9 American states have more cows than humans. These include Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Fact number 22. Atlanta is west of Detroit. People forget how much the eastern seaboard slopes inward as you go down the coast, to the point where Atlanta, the biggest metropolitan area of Georgia, is actually west of Detroit, Michigan. Fact number 21. Carter Lake, Iowa, suddenly found itself on the other side of the Missouri River. Carter Lake has the distinction of being the only Iowa town west of the Missouri River, and the reason is quite strange. A huge flood in 1877 changed the river's entire flow, pushing it east of the town. The residents of Carter Lake suddenly found themselves separated from their former neighbors and surrounded by Nebraska. Nebraska didn't try to claim the town, though. This isn't the only messed up border on our list, though. Fact number 20. The New Mexico border is crooked because a surveyor drew it incorrectly. New Mexico's eastern border may look like a straight line from a distance, but if you look closely, the state's border with Oklahoma in the north is around 2 miles further east than the state's border with Texas. And it's not because of some epic land or power struggle lost to history.
That is insane that this tiny little thing here, this tiny little bit of like forwardness, this error is 2 miles long. It just really puts the scale of the US in my head. Like you can barely see it from this distance, but that is 2 miles.
It's because of a surveyor. The border was meant to follow the 103rd meridian. While the Oklahoma border aligns correctly, the southern border doesn't, thanks to a surveyor who measured part of it from north to south and the rest from south to north, throwing off his final calculations. New Mexico never appealed to get the land east of their border back. Fact 19. The Florida Everglades is the only place on Earth where crocodiles and alligators coexist. For most of us who still can't tell the difference, alligators are black with a U-shaped snout, and crocodiles are lighter gray or brown with a V-shaped snout. Either way, both of them are in the swamps of Florida, so it's best to avoid a swim in the area.
Which grow bigger? Which can be bigger? Like alligators or crocodiles? Like what is the largest ever one found of each species?
Fact 18. The US is one of only 5 countries home to polar bears. Thanks to Alaska, the US is home to some majestic polar bears. Scientists estimate that between 4,000 and 7,000 polar bears roam the Great White North. When asked for a more exact count, they reportedly replied, "Thanks, but we'd rather estimate from exactly this far away." In case you're curious, the other 4 countries home to polar bears are...
I don't blame them. Would you want to get up and close with a polar bear? Absolutely not.
Russia, Denmark, Norway, and Canada. Fact 17. Michigan has 2 disconnected peninsulas because of a compromise. Michigan applied for statehood in 1835 and tried to include land near Toledo, Ohio in its application. Ohio, wanting to access Lake Erie, shut that down pretty quickly, leaving Michiganders loud and annoyed. To appease them, Congress gave Michigan what's now known as the Upper Peninsula, attached to Wisconsin as a consolation prize. That's why the state remains divided into 2 separate, disconnected landmasses today. Fact number 16. Minnesota accidentally has part of Canada. If you glance at Minnesota's northern border, it looks like someone bumped into the map maker while drawing the state. The border suddenly shoots up into Canada and then back down shortly after. The mistake wasn't because of a shaky hand, but the 1783 Treaty of Paris and the US and Great Britain were working with wrong maps. The 2 countries wanted to draw a boundary at a northwest angle through the Lake of the Woods. But the lake wasn't drawn correctly, so the border ended up being a mistake, and to this day is still called the Northwest Angle.
It must be so hard to like decide where borders are because you've got to account for lakes, mountains. You know, it's not as simple as just like drawing a straight line, you know, across a map. It must be super difficult because obviously like the other side too will want as much land as they can get. So you got to negotiate that too.
This is far from the only weird state border formed by political bickering and mistakes, so stay tuned. Fact number 15. The 100 largest landowning families own enough land to fill the state of Florida. The Emerson family operates Sierra Pacific Industries, a business that cuts usable lumber after forest fires and sells it to other lumber retailers. While John Malone, the largest private landowner in the US, mostly has cattle ranches. The Emersons own 2.4 million acres, or about 9,700 square kilometers, and John Malone owns 2.2 million, or about 8,900 square kilometers, an area about the size of Yellowstone National Park. Fact number 14. There is only one...
I mean, the cost of buying that land today, like we're probably talking billions, right? Like that much land?
State capital without a McDonald's. If you're tired of seeing the Golden Arches everywhere and want a town that shies away from big corporate chains, maybe you should head to Montpelier, Vermont. It has the distinction of being the only state capital without a McDonald's. Fact...
I wonder why McDonald's didn't open one there. Like, I'm sure that there'd be some customers in Montpellier that want a Big Mac or a fillet of fish.
Number 13. The tallest forest in the world is Rockefeller Forest in California. California has the tallest forest in the world, the Rockefeller Forest. Scientists believe that the type of trees that grow here, coastal redwoods, combined with the mild Pacific coast climate, create these tall forests. Fact number 12. Kilauea is the most active volcano in the world. Not only does the US have a supervolcano, it also wins the world's most likely to erupt prize, a trophy wanted by absolutely no one. Mount Kilauea, on the Big Island of Hawaii, is the most active volcano in the world. It's been erupting non-stop for the past 200 years, with the last notable one being in June of 2024. Fact 11. 85%.
I would love to see a volcano eruption, like obviously from a safe distance, but don't they look so cool, you know, with the lava, the orange lava coming out. Sometimes you see like lightning bolts as well. It's probably for me the most impressive like display of nature, like nature's power, I think, like a volcano eruption. What do you think? I think tornadoes are probably a close second.
Of Nevada is federal land. Though many western states contain large amounts of federal land, both due to challenging barely habitable geography and being forced to cede land to join the US as a state, Nevada contains by far the most. Today, the government owns 80 to 85% of Nevada, mostly through the Bureau of Land Management, though the Department of Defense also operates a fair amount of bases and facilities here. Fact number 10. Las Vegas is in Nevada because Arizona supported the Confederacy. When gold was discovered in that pointy region of the Arizona Territory in the 19th century, both Nevada and Arizona wanted it. At the time, Nevada's southern border was 60 miles or 96 kilometers above where Las Vegas sits today. Both states made their cases in front of Congress for who should get that land. Congress picked Nevada because they said the state was better prepared to manage the influx of gold miners. But it was also 1867, and after fighting a deadly, costly, and frankly exhausting civil war against the Confederacy, Congress was also just not in the mood to be nice to the secession-supporting state of Arizona. So, Nevada ended up with Las Vegas. Fact number 9. 39 counties in the U.S.
What do they say about, you know, the victors get the spoils?
Have a GDP of over $100 billion each. The GDP of LA County in 2022 was around $913 billion, a bigger output than all but 5 U.S. states. That places its GDP between Switzerland and Poland. Other rich counties in the U.S. include New York, Cook County, home to Chicago, and Harris County, home to Houston. Fact number 8. Kentucky Bend is separated from Kentucky. To separate Kentucky from Tennessee, a line was drawn to divide the states, but in one small area, it was drawn right through a Mississippi River bend and a small chunk of land that sticks out into the river from Tennessee, creating Kentucky Bend. Residents have to cross through Tennessee to get to the rest of Kentucky. People used to be divided over which state they should belong to the point where a church called Compromise was built right on the state line, and residents would sit on the side they supported. The area only has 18 residents today, so it's not much of an issue anymore. Fact number 7. You have to drive through Canada to get to Point Roberts, USA. If you venture south from Vancouver into the little peninsula under it, you'll hit a border check and then Point Roberts. This tiny strip of 4.9 square miles ended up in US hands, even though it is on the Tawasin Peninsula. It can only be accessed by plane or boat without driving through Canada first. This division happened in the 1840s, when the border between Canada and the Oregon Territory almost brought the US and Great Britain to the brink of war again. Instead, they settled on a treaty, which divided the territory at the 49th parallel except for Vancouver Island, and the Tawasin Peninsula, which dips slightly below the parallel. Fact number 6, 94 places in the US are named after George Washington.
I mean, this one doesn't surprise me too much because I think George Washington is, like, in terms of ranking US presidents, he's probably ranked at or near number 1.
He is number
1. Lincoln. Ooh. I'm not sure actually. Like, what would be your top 5 US presidents ranked from 5th to 1st? First and second is probably between Lincoln and Washington, isn't it? Oh, but then who make up the rest? And plus, there's probably some that I'm forgetting about as well.
These include a state, 31 separate counties, and the capital of Washington, D.C. Of all presidents, Washington has the most places named after him. The second most frequently found presidential name in the country's geography is Lincoln. Fact number 5. Ohio may have the biggest geode in the world. Though the Pulpi geode in Spain is also competing, the winner has yet to be decided. Ohio's Crystal Cave may be the world's biggest geode. When workers were digging for Heinemann's winery in Put-in-Bay, Ohio back in 1897, they thought they had uncovered a cave. In reality, they had stumbled upon a massive geode, a rock lined with dazzling crystals on the inside. The celestite crystals in the cave run up to 3 feet wide and 18 inches long, and the geode itself can comfortably hold up to 30 people inside.
Geodes are so cool, like the ones with the purple crystals that dance with, like, look like diamonds pretty much. Very pretty.
Number 4. Almost all of Whittier, Alaska lives in one building. The 14-story Begich Towers in Whittier houses almost the entire population of 263 people. It also has a general store, a post office, a police station, church, and even a hospital, helpful for residents who don't want to go outside during the harsh Alaskan winters. Fact 3. Only 17 state capitals are also their state's largest cities. Out of 50 states, only 17 have capital cities that are also their state's largest urban centers. For example, California's capital is Sacramento, and New York's capital is Albany. Part of the reason is that many capitals were selected for alternate historical, geographical, or military reasons. Some early American politicians also believed that if a state's major city was already prosperous and powerful, the capital should be located elsewhere to divide political and economic power among different regions.
To be fair, that's actually a pretty good idea. So you're not concentrating too much power in one small area within that state.
Fact number 2, London Bridge is in Arizona. That's right, the original London Bridge is nowhere near the UK capital. You can now find it in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Originally built in the 1830s, the bridge did once sit over the Thames River in London. But in the 1960s, London Bridge did, quite literally, start falling down. The city realized it would be too costly to repair and had to be replaced. Industrialist Robert McCulloch bought the bridge and transported all 10,000 tons of it to Lake Havasu City to be rebuilt. And finally, fact number 1. The Grand Canyon isn't the deepest canyon in the US. That title goes to Hell's Canyon in eastern Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Hell's Canyon dives down to around 8,000 feet at its deepest point, or about 2,400 meters, while the Grand Canyon only reaches 6,000 feet, or about 1,800 meters at
Then why does the Grand Canyon get all of the flowers and recognition then? Why is it the more popular canyon?
its lowest. That means about 3 Burj Khalifas, the world's tallest building, could stack up inside of it. So why does the Grand Canyon get all the fame? Well, because it's longer, larger, and to many, more scenic than Hell's Canyon, thanks to its stunning rock formations and vistas. Thanks for joining me today.
Incredible video. Like, truly. Like, there was a lot of stuff there that I had never known, never heard of. Like, the tree, the one that sticks to my mind is the Hyperion tree, the one that's 600 to 800 years old. I would love to go and see that tree. Like, even if it's not the most impressive tree, because it's not the biggest one. I think the biggest one was General Sherman. Like, just seeing something that's 800 years old, a living organism, that's almost as old as like a millennium. I find that just so insane. Like, it really blows my mind. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
I balance. Ooh, it's warm. Now, come on. Thank you.
This one coming from a mile away. From my past videos that I've done on Tom McDonald and Chris Webby and Burden and Kid Rock. Like I've done so many. But this one will probably hit close to home because I lived 15 minutes away from all the stuff that happened in Kenosha. Yeah, that was a pretty insane night, let me tell you. We obviously weren't directly affected by it, but there was a lot of rumors about them coming west and coming into the area that I lived in. So yeah, it was kind of a wild night. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too much in. I'm not gonna go like crazy in depth on that or anything like that. If you don't want that in like a video, I guess I could do it, but I don't really see a reason to. Anyways, let's just get into this. I've heard so many things about this. So many things. Why is it not playing? Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Apparently my headset wasn't on. I guess I left for too long. All right, let's go. Sorry I made that face. It was really, really loud. All right.
Sucker punch somebody on the sidewalk, carjacking old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on a flag and light it up. Yeah, you think it's tough. Well, try that in a small town, see how far you make it down the road. Around here we take...
All right, I guess I gotta go in depth on it now. So basically where I lived was about 15 minutes away from where all the shit in Kenosha happened, and they were threatening to come west of the interstate, which is where I lived, about, 15, 20 minutes down the road, right? It's all, that area is all, it's all suburbs, it's all trailer parks, it's all farmers, basically all rednecks and hicks and everything else. And they were threatening to come west of the I to go and rob all the rich white people that were over there, which made no fucking sense at all, because all we were was a bunch of, it was a lot of hillbillies, rednecks, and hicks. We're not really rich people. we weren't really rich, so I don't understand what BLM's logic was behind that. I'm probably gonna get flagged just for saying that, but I'm assuming they had somebody that must have went out there and scouted out the area at least, because they never made it out there. The reason being was there was people locked and loaded on their front porches from the area that I was living in all the way down to the state line. We went out and we were driving around and we were looking at this, seeing all the people outside in the front porches, people outside their businesses, all locked and loaded, AR-15s, 9mm, Glocks, just everybody on the front porch of their businesses and houses locked and loaded, ready for these people to come out there, and they never did. Because you just don't do that in a small town. You fuckers can go do it in the city. Go do it in Kenosha. You don't come out here. Just the way it was. Just the way it is. We're all locked and loaded. Every fucking person in that area has a gun. And people in the city, I don't think they all own guns. I'm pretty sure half of them are pretty, left. But yeah, this song hits close to home.
Take it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't. Try that in a small town. my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck, try that in a small town.
Exactly what I just said. They might fly in the city, but don't try that in a small town. That's awesome. Exactly what I just said. Because them fucking people that were threatening to come down by where I lived, they didn't even make it down there. Doesn't surprise me. If I saw that many people locked and loaded, I wouldn't even attempt to go into that area.
That is.
And the entire truth about that, all them fucking people are pussies. They'd rather fight the easy fight than fight the good fight. Because if they fight the good fight, they wouldn't win. That's just the truth. They wouldn't win. Oh God, get out of here. They wouldn't win. And I will say, I do remember hearing about, so I don't want to slander anybody's name or anything like that, but if I remember correctly, when all this was going down, the sheriff was threatened with his job over all the shit that was going down. He was he was threatened with a lot with his job if he was going to, I don't remember the correct word, was it militarize the citizens or something? I don't remember exactly what the term is for it, but he ended up being threatened with the job over it, and he had to go through a whole press conference about it. I'm not going to go super in depth on it, but apparently the sheriff was threatened with his job from the Kenosha mayor. I loved knowing a lot more stuff about actually what was happening in Kenosha compared to what the national news was saying. The national news don't know shit. If you lived in the area that I lived in and you had local news covering it, the people in the local news knew what was happening and they covered it as such. National news would throw it up as where right-wing media would take this and run with it, and left-wing media would take this and run with it. Where when you see it at the local level and you see exactly what's happening, it's a little different. You know, it changed a lot of people's minds, especially in the area that I lived in. There's a lot of people that were in support of a lot of this stuff that completely changed their minds when it happened 10 minutes down the road and the local news was talking about it. Because now it's in your own fucking town and they're destroying all the businesses that you probably went to. They're destroying pretty much everything in the area. At least, you know, along a couple blocks or whatever, but how can you support it when it's that close to home and they're destroying your town? It changed the entire state of mind in the area. I saw it firsthand. Because I had friends who supported it and I had friends who were against it. Eventually they were all against it because of exactly what happened. The more they fucking, the more these people were rioting and everything else, the more these people were looting, they got less and less support. That's what I noticed. I don't understand why they kept doing it, but, you know. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there.
farmers are dropping their own crops for the day. A friend is in need, and they've come to help.
It's what this community and a lot of our communities stand for. Somebody needs some help, you'll get it.
That was good. I did have one more point to make about how at one point, so when it was happening just on the national level, you know, where we can only see it through national news, it was, at the time, there was people who thought it was about race, right? That's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about racism and stuff, you know, within the system and such, and privilege and everything else, but I'm not going to go crazy on that. But when it happens to you at the local level, it's not about that at all. It's not about that anymore. This is something I experienced firsthand. It's not even close to being about that anymore. It's about destroying things that you know. It's about defending your own. And that right there is what this song is about. It's not anything about race. I relate to this song on such a big level because of what happened and the area that I lived in. This is fucking great. I love it. I'm happy that this shit's going #1 and it's going viral because people are trying to say it's a lynching anthem when in reality it's not. It's nothing about race. It's not at all. It's about defending your own. And my experiences, hell yeah. This is fucking awesome. Let's throw a like on that real quick. God damn, 12 million views in 7 days. Jesus. I did see that it's also #1 on iTunes, and he also took the #1 spot with one of his albums not that long ago. And also on top of that, I also saw 6 of his albums. 6 of Jason Aldean's albums are in the top 30 right now because they tried to cancel him. Pretty similar to what happened to Morgan Wallen a few years ago, if I remember. But that was for a completely different reason. Y'all can go look that up for yourselves. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure you smash the like button down below. Don't forget to hit subscribe. And also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, about 96% of y'all are not subscribed. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's greatly appreciated. And also don't forget to turn notifications. And yeah, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Kids are out. You near the neighbor's kids. Okay. Come on. This ear always gives me issue when I have my nails on. When I don't have my nails on. Which is weird because I've never had a problem putting my earrings in. Ever. Alright, now to go wash my hands and change my clothes. Alrighty. And now I stream until my husband gets home. Come on, Blitzo. Get that lipstick off my lip ring. Wow. Really? You're awfully talkative today. Quit, you're knocking you're gonna knock my laptop over. Hey. No, sir. You can't see. Lay down. Good boy. Lay down. To be fair, like this girl, saying it has says carjacking old sucker punch somebody in the face, carjacking old lady, and pulling a gun on the liquor store. Okay, these crimes are not just done by black men and women. Okay, white men, white women, Latinos, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, it don't matter. Those crimes are committed by every race, not just one. So if you're looking at terms of the crimes they're talking about, that makes you the racist thinking they're talking about black people and not just criminals.
Right, if y'all not already familiar, man, I really enjoy their commentary because they are dope individuals. And I gotta see what they about to say. Because whenever they get on the microphone, man, I imagine it gets a little scary for their team because these brothers say whatever the heck come to their mind.
You cannot convince me otherwise.
It's not you old moon face.
It's a black community. It's a number of black people. Try that in that community, and it's a different culture. People, everybody know. See, you're not from a small town. You're from San Francisco or Chicago. Like a small town, everybody knows everybody. Everybody keeps their doors open. When somebody needs assistance, provide help. If somebody needs care to watch their kids or watch someone's pet, I mean, everybody knows everybody. You don't really get the culture of a small town. You're like, you just speculate mostly.
Well, here's what I want to say is that some people like to do things like the videos like that, and just to point out all of the things that they believe they see or they want to see or they want to hear, just to make themselves feel more important than they are. Lady, you did a horrible breakdown of that song. Horrible. You wanted to miss the point from the beginning. He's talking about carjackings and robberies. Who else is he talking about? Do you realize how racist you have to be? Even if, and now I see why. Now I see why the twin was saying, I don't know if it was Keith or Kevin, saying that you hate your black side and your white side. That was you hating your black side to assume that carjackings and robberies are only black behavior. And you're already putting that on Jason Aldean to speculate that. No, he didn't speculate a daggone thing. They put imagery inside of the video, clearly, and they showed black dudes inside of a store robbing people. But at the end of the day, and He showed other people. He showed different races throughout the entirety of the video, and they were all doing dumb sugar honey iced tea. But for some strange reason, you want to belong to whatever community you belong to online that's helping you grow. You've tapped into an algorithm, and for some strange reason, you want to pick out things that aren't there because this makes sense to you. You literally sound dumb as hell while describing this. This gentleman made a song for people who are tired of seeing crimes committed all over the country. He wants things to be better. So he pointed out all these different disrespectful things, demonic things that are being done by many people around the country. And he is tired of it. And he's saying that, yo, you're going to keep on doing that in places that aren't checking you. Like they not checking you properly. Won't you try that in our small town where we actually give a crap about each other? We care about the country. We're not going to let that ride. We're going to protect our women and children. Go ahead and try it out here and see what happens. See how far you make it down the road after trying it here, is what he's saying. But leave it up to the people who want there to be a divide between races so that they can continue to be important in their own little stratosphere of just disrespectful, indignant, negative, pessimistic individuals who cannot live, can't breathe, can't sleep without there being some cloud of racism or oppression over their heads so that they can feel important. At the end of the day, you got that wrong, and it didn't even seem like you were even trying to understand it. You were just trying to tap into your algorithm. You felt good about that, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Well, you didn't sound good. You didn't look good either. And I'm not talking about your looks. I'm not the most attractive person in the world. But anytime someone is acting ugly, they also look the way they're acting. You were acting extremely ugly in your video. And as a black man, I didn't appreciate it. Oh, these images must have come from Fox News. Yeah, they probably did come from Fox News because MSNBC and CNN tries to hide what actually goes on in certain communities around the country. So thanks for bringing that up. Because sometimes when something happens and someone is robbed, someone is shot, someone is beat up for no reason, I go to MSNBC and CNN on YouTube, and guess what I don't find? I don't find any reports of those activities, those situations at all. Are they hiding them, or is it just a coincidence? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but I do know that sometimes some news sources show it all, just not yours, not the one that you subscribe to.
Then how you accuse somebody of being racist, then on the back end you become racist? I mean, black people commit carjackings, yeah, but white people do too. Yeah. You insinuated that only, what, black people rob people? She said the loud part out loud. Everybody knows black people, even though they only constitute 12% of the population, they account for 50% of the violent crime. Yeah, that's a fact. Jack. I mean, but he showed all kinds of different races, genders. Yeah. Like I said, there was a Chinese person in that video. But you know what the problem is? This is the epitome of CRT. Yeah, CRT, critical race theory. You applying critical race theory to this video. You're looking at everything through a racist lens, like a black and white lens, and that's why they don't want to shut up and let me finish, okay?
You can tell the brother.
See, I forgot everything I was gonna say. I knew where you was going because that's why they don't want CRT is because it gives it. When you teach CRT to people, you download all this information and it turns you. And you see things from a racist lens. Yeah, you've been conditioned to think a certain way. You're even using left-wing talking points. Dog whistles? There's no dog whistles in that video. It was implying, he was talking about criminals performing criminal activity in the video. That's the only thing that he was saying. That was the gist of the video. And he was pretty much saying, if you come to a small town, you ain't gonna get halfway down the road. Yeah,
it's unfortunate that you even have to explain that we even have to explain that to anyone who's an adult. If you're a thinking individual, you should already get that. And there's some people, like myself, I don't like puzzles. Well, I don't mind doing a puzzle, but I don't like playing those type of mental games when I'm communicating with somebody. As a grown man, I like to be straightforward, and I don't want to speak in codes. I don't want you to understand my code. I don't want to learn a code to speak in so that you not understand what I'm saying, but the people I'm talking to in code can understand. No, I want everybody to understand me clearly so that I not so my words aren't misconstrued, so my message is not taken out of context, any of that, right? And for some strange reason, whenever someone thinks someone is speaking ill of another race, they feel like they are speaking in code. Oh, that's another dog whistle. Ooh, there's another dog whistle. Why are you upset at a man for making a song saying that I'm tired of the crime that's being committed in our country? Check yourself if you're anybody in this country who's upset at a man making a song about how done he is with the evil ways of our society and our country. Yo, you need to check yourself and ask yourself, why does that piss me off so much?
Agreed. He is 100% right on that. Why does it piss you off so much? Are you thinking it through that lens? Or are you taking it at face value for what it is, a song, and that's it? People, man. What time is it? 2:30. I've got about 30 minutes to an hour left before I have to go to that party. What do y'all think? Y'all think my nails look pretty? I don't usually wear my hair down, so it's kind of driving me mad. Seriously? That's neat. See, aliens do exist. Just kidding. I think they do, just given the vastness of the universe. Have they come to Earth? I don't know. But I do think they are real.
Of a low-frequency emission that existed in the interstellar medium. In response, a group of radio astronomers classified the waveform using a machine learning model that had been trained on more than 20 years of deep space signal data. Pulsars, rapid radio bursts, and planetary radio emissions are examples of natural astrophysical signals that can be distinguished by the model. The pulse rhythm of Voyager did not match any of the data set's known examples. It was found that the signal had a predictable structure that repeated with little variation, indicating that it was non-chaotic. In signal analysis, non-chaotic signals usually originate from stable transmitters or systems intended to preserve phase coherence, whereas chaotic systems are linked to natural settings. A transient noise artifact was ruled out by the 7-second repetition interval and phase stability across several detection sites. Researchers compared the Voyager 2 signal to historical signal artifacts, such as the so-called WOW signal discovered in 1977, in order to confirm the discovery. The Voyager signal had a longer duration and a more structured form, but lacked the spike intensity of that single detection. Additionally, engineers used Earth's orbital position in relation to Voyager 2 to estimate the variance in signal delay. The pulse timing changed by a fraction of a second when Earth was on the Sun's far side, which is in line with the predicted time delay effect brought on by light travel distance. An additional phase alignment adjustment, however, indicated that the signal source might not be merely reflecting a fixed origin, but rather responding to the shift in position. This alignment would not be explained by the emission's behavior if it were coming from a passive body, such as a dust cloud or a piece of ice. Alternatively, the signal might indicate an intelligent reaction or an automated beacon with location awareness if it was coming from a coherent source close to Voyager 2 and changing in time with the Earth's position. NASA and its partner observatories have not asserted that the signal is a means of communication. The distance-based modulation effects, consistent phase, and systematic repetition, however, strongly point to an origin that is neither chaotic nor described by existing models of the interstellar environment. Although electromagnetic patterns are common in outer space, their behavior is usually controlled by entropy, interference, and random variation. That pattern is not followed by the carrier stream signal for Voyager 2. It has not vanished and exhibits indications of design, or at the very least, consistent generation from a single stable origin. It continues to operate in sporadic bursts while maintaining synchronization with the spacecraft's known coordinates and vector of velocity. If there is an origin point close to Voyager 2, either the signal is being projected in a tight beam that stays concentrated on its location, or the source is traveling with the probe. It is challenging to link the behavior to a natural body or debris field in both situations. This implies that something with the ability to generate signals may be working in close proximity to the probe, and that signal has now been independently detected from Earth, rather than confirmation of intention. An echo of 40 years. Mission analysts focused on archival telemetry from Voyager 1 after identifying the anomalies in the data from Voyager 2. Launched 16 days prior in 1977, it is now the furthest spacecraft ever constructed by people. The two probes' onboard equipment and communication systems were almost identical, despite the fact that they followed somewhat different routes following their planetary flybys. As a result, comparisons between their deep space data have long been a common component of mission analysis. In 2012, Voyager 1 entered interstellar space after passing through the heliopause. Since then, because of its increased distance and diminished battery reserves, it has continued to return low-bandwidth science data, albeit more slowly. Engineers examining its past signal logs found several instances of abnormal telemetry, timing, and signal distortion that were previously thought to be either innocuous or unexplainable, despite the fact that its trajectory has remained constant. The discovery of a phase shift in the Voyager 1 signal carrier in 1996 was one of the most prominent instances.
Someone or something is calling us from interstellar space. Could it be aliens? Or could it be something aliens? Or could it be something far stranger?
Something striking just happened to the Voyager 2 science team.
This team, that was a unique experience, which will be the highlight for many of the careers of the Voyager scientists.
For more than 46 years, this interstellar object has been sailing through space.
This extraterrestrial object has been traveling across space and sending out regular signals for almost 46 years. However, the plasma wave data has now shown an odd fluctuation that is pulsing with a level of precision that surprised NASA.
It came from another star, glowing, shifting, and now silent. NASA has the images, but the agency is silent for now.
Scientists discovered that this object did not arise out of nowhere when they matched these measurements to previous abnormalities reported in Voyager 1's telemetry. It might have been tracking Voyager 2 for a very long time. NASA was unable to explain the phenomenon. NASA lost communication with Voyager 2 on July 21st, 2023. One of NASA's longest-serving space probes has lost communication. Voyager 2's transmission has stopped. This occurred immediately following a misdirected order that caused the spacecraft's antenna orientation to change by around 2 degrees. This prevented it from sending and receiving data and pointed it somewhat away from Earth. Even the slightest misalignment is significant at a distance of more than 19 billion kilometers from Earth, sufficient to completely cut off communication. Engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory sought to restore contact over the course of the following 2 weeks, and on August 4th, the spacecraft carrier signal was successfully received by the Deep Space Network. They used the Canberra facility's 7 EM dish to deliver a corrective command. Voyager 2 started sending engineering and scientific data again around August 6th. Regaining touch was the primary focus of the immediate relief. but a review of the returning data showed something that did not match expectations. After a heartbeat signal was detected, there is hope that NASA will be able to recover control of the missing Voyager 2 spacecraft. When the voltage fluctuations in the plasma wave subsystem were plotted over time, they created a steady pattern. Natural interference, or noise, is unlikely to be the cause of these pulses because they were not random and did not match background solar activity. After verifying the stability and health of the equipment, engineers ruled out internal malfunction. The likelihood of a cosmic ray occurrence or sensor error was decreased by the signal pattern's uniformity. The simulations verified that extremely irregular signals will be produced by cosmic rays. This meant that the regular waveform that Voyager 2 was broadcasting would not be produced. Voyager 2's continued transmitting has been verified by NASA. It is anticipated that contact will be restored following a planned reset of the probing systems in mid-October. Mission navigators recognized a little variation in Voyager 2's performance.
You got the dress on backwards. Yes, you do. It's got the line going through the middle of it. You've got it up backwards. Hold on. I'm streaming on my computer. They won't see you. You see how close my face is to it?